Welcome back to Women's Business Report. Dr. Maya Rockeymoore Cummings is the founder and CEO at Global Policy Solutions, a Washington, D.C. based policy firm that makes policy work for people and their environments. Dr. Rockeymoore Cummings' area of expertise includes health, social insurance, income security, education, women's issues, and youth civic participation. She is the author of the Political Action Handbook, a how-to guide for the hip-hop generation, and is co-editor of Strengthening Community, Social Insurance in a Diverse America, among many other articles and chapters. You're an alum, so welcome back to Women's Business Report.
It's a pleasure to be on again.
Well, let me just first congratulate you by your senior appointment at Brookings Institution. Tell us about that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll be a non-resident senior fellow at Brookings, and what that means is that I get to still live in Baltimore even though I'll be doing work that's important for the nation and the world. It's in the Metropolitan Policy program at Brookings, which means that I'll be focusing on policies that are important to cities like Baltimore and DC and New York and places across the country. We still have a lot of work to do in our country in terms of making sure that we have livable places where everyone has an opportunity to not just survive but to thrive. And I am dedicated, and I've dedicated my career to making sure I am pursuing the policy options and solutions that can make a difference in our community.
Right. Well, as a fellow Baltimorean, I'm particularly interested in Baltimore, so congratulations, and I know you're going to be great there.
Thank you so much.
So we're talking about, our segment today is sponsored by Linked Inclusion, and so naturally we're talking about inclusion, and we're talking about being a woman entrepreneur and some of the challenges and thrills that we get as women entrepreneurs. So why do you think it's important for women to be entrepreneurs?
I think it's important for women to be able to show their skills and the diversity of their skills in all kinds of ways, and entrepreneurship and business is one of them. Women don't just belong in the kitchen. We can run multi-million-dollar businesses too.
Yes, we can.
And be successful beyond, society's wildest imaginations for us. And so with that, I am just encouraged. We did a study a couple of years ago about entrepreneurship. And women in general, but Black women especially, have been at the forefront of creating businesses like you wouldn't believe following the 2008 global economic crisis. We decided that we were going to go into business for ourselves and try our hands at it. And yet, when you look at the statistics, African American women and Latina women have a large number of businesses, but the fewest number of us have employees. So we're mostly sole proprietors, which means that we've got work to do to make sure that we're supporting women business owners, that we're getting the access to capital that we need, that we have the other supports that we need in order to not just create a business, but to actually have a successful business.
What advice do you give to any woman, young woman, older woman, at any age? Because we can start businesses at any age.
That's right.
So what advice do you give to women when they try to get into business, or they start to get into business and they start to face exclusion or that glass ceiling that still unfortunately exists? What advice do you give to women about those challenges?
So network. Market. People need to know who you are, whether that's because you're working the networks or you're putting yourself out there in terms of letting people know about your business. And so, the challenges are going to come because we live in a patriarchal world, one in which, men seem to have it easier when it comes to these things like business creation and success. And so that means that, we have to rely on each other sometimes because, we've got more women in positions of power or procurement and other opportunities to, get hired. But it also means that we have to, go the extra mile to make sure that people know that we're here. And I would also add, get help. There is the Small Business Administration runs, women-focused business centers that provide the support we need for, marketing plans, for business plans, you name loans. Right. You name it, it's available out there. And so there's nothing wrong with saying that you need help. When I started my business, I went to a small business, women's small business center. And so, get the help that you need when you need it.
Great. Can you speak a little bit about the wellness aspect? Because as women, we're always the caretakers. We're doing so much. We do so much more. And so it has an effect on us. And so what about the wellness aspect of being a woman in business? Can you speak to that?
So I am so glad that you mentioned that, because I think that we think of everyone except ourselves first. And especially when you're running a business, and a business with employees,
Right.
that, I know that I thought, okay, I've got now all these families that I'm responsible for. So in addition to my spouse and, my familial obligations at home, I felt like, okay, I have employees that have families too. I got to make sure that this is working. And so, what ends up happening is you put yourself last. And for me, I gained weight. I think I had levels of, stress that I didn't need. And at the end of the day, it's like what they say when you get on the airplane. If you're not getting your oxygen first, nothing's going to work.
Exactly.
Especially when there's a crash.
Yeah.
And so, women need to understand that putting yourself first is actually not selfish. It's
Right.
necessary for business success.
Well, we thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for coming back and being a repeat guest on Women's Business Report. Thank you so much.
It's been delightful. Thank
It's
you.
been delightful talking to you as well.